Hi, welcome to Stress Release Yoga. Now that it's spring, the weather is warm-ish, you may find your weekends are very busy, and we're now releasing these videos on Monday. So I thought we'd do just kind of a slow and easy practice today, kind of as a recovery practice. If you had a weekend like mine where I was delivering furniture to my nephew, right? Stuff like that. Running around, being more active outside, and then just kind of the manual labor that you may be doing in and around your house can leave us a little, I don't really have the energy for the things I want to do today. So we're going to take it nice and easy and still work out a lot of our stress. Nice full breath. Let your chin drop down towards your chest. Just gently pull your shoulder blades back and down. Feel your breath. Let your head rise back up. Observe how you are. Are there certain parts that are sore and tender? What's your energy like today? And set an intention to take care of yourself during this practice and for whatever's left of the rest of your day. And gently inhale your arms up overhead. So I'm sitting on a meditation cushion, however you want to sit. You do not have to be sitting the way I am. You can sit in a normal cross-legged position. Just reach your arms up overhead, nice full stretch. If you're able to look up without hurting your neck, look up towards the ceiling. Trying to get a bit of a back bend in here. And then let your hands come down. Behind the back, interlace fingers together. Pull the hands down towards the floor, getting into those shoulders. So again, if you're really active, doing housework, painting, shoulders might be a little extra tight today. So just try to pull those hands up away from the body. You can lean a bit forward. And then slowly let your hands come on down. Release them, inhale them back up overhead. So just feeling that stretch, right? Just like you're normally waking up in the morning, whatever your speed is here for the stretch. And then we're taking it into a twist. So again, just sitting any way that you like. Legs can be straight out in front of you. Bring that right hand onto the floor behind you. Left hand can rest on either leg. Lift the spine up. Soften the abdomen. Let your shoulder blades drop down. Nice big breath. And then we'll take it to the other side. Hands can either stay low here, or you can, again, stretch the arms up overhead. So my one shoulder often doesn't turn well. Okay, today it's going okay. Sometimes I have to bring that arm down and then turn. So you're just going with, again, what's going on in your own body. So twisting to the left. Lift the spine up, soften the abdomen. And then we're coming back to center. Bring your arms up overhead. Reach up. Grab hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Gently pull this left arm up. So we're trying to stretch out through that, our right arm. Left hand holding right wrist. We're going to gently pull that right arm up. So we're stretching the shoulder blade through the side of the body. I can't usually tip very far in this pose. If you can tip farther, keep going. Breath. And then we're coming back to center. Good. Let's let the hands come down. We're just going to bring them back down behind us, interlacing fingers again. Pull hands down. Gently stretch them out away from your body. They may not move. All right, so they may just pull down and not kind of pull up away from the back. That's fine. And then release them down. I almost forgot where we were going. All right, arms back up overhead. Hold on to your left wrist. We're going to lift up this left side of the body. So just bending a little bit to the right, feeling what's happening in the pose. Not trying to get to any particular place except to feel better. And then we're going to bring the hands back up to center. Let them come back down. Just bring hands to your heart. Take a nice breath. When we bring the hands to the heart, it's just that little reminder, just to connect inward. Because this whole practice is just about us as individuals. So it's just about you. And bringing the hands in is just that reminder that we're just taking care of ourselves. Okay, we're going to come out onto hands and knees. And just down into a child's pose. Knees can be wide or close together. Let your head come down. Take a nice full breath. Try to let your body soften downward as you exhale. And then with your hands still stretched forward from a child's pose, we're going to rise up onto the knees. We're going to pull the belly in, but start to let your hips shift forward. Keeping the arms straight or a little bit of a soft elbow. We're going to pull the chest forward. It's kind of like a half upward facing dog. So upward facing dog, your thighs would be up off the floor. More strenuous pose, harder on the back. So we're going to pull this abdomen in really firmly, and we're going to round it into a cat pose. So back onto hands and knees, or not back, just onto hands and knees. We're going to round into cat. And then take an inhale. Let the spine drop down between your shoulder blades. Trying to really feel that in your shoulders. And upper back, and then gently bring the head and chest up. If something hurts here, some days it's not good for me to bring my head up too high. Just drop the spine down, maybe look a little bit forward. Or if you're good today, you can lift up like you're trying to pull the head up away from your shoulders. Curl your toes under. We're going to round a little bit so we can come into a down dog. Just push back into a down dog. See if you can shift your hips a little bit from side to side. So as you shift your hips to the right, your left heel comes up. As you shift them to the left, your right heel comes up. I don't know if I said that right. But anyway, you shift to one side, the opposite side, the heel comes up. Sometimes it's really hard to think and talk in yoga because my brain just starts to get relaxed. All right, we're going to bring it back down onto hands and knees. Drop your knees down. Drop down into a dog pose again. Let your spine drop down between your shoulder blades and then just see about how high you want to be here. Breath. Okay, we're going to bend the elbows, we're going to bring the chest down, straighten your legs out. So just flatten out first. Get nice and flat here. Hands below your shoulders, fingers spread out again. And then start to pull your shoulder blades already back down towards your hips and in towards your spine. So you're already moving those shoulders. And then you're going to press into your hands and pull your chest forward, coming into a cobra pose. Breathe. So try to really push that chest forward. pull those shoulder blades back. And then we're just going to lower back down. We're going to flatten out. Take a breath. Good. And into a half frog. Half frog you can either do from your lower arms or you can be flatter on the floor. We're going to bring the right knee up to about hip height. I will sometimes just kind of walk that leg kind of straight out and then pull the leg a little bit farther out, and then we're bending the knee. So your right knee is roughly in line, coming straight out to the side from your right hip. Getting that inner leg to face the floor. You can shift your body a little bit. So again, you could be flat, you could be on your lower arms. I often like to be on the lower arms. This is one way to kind of stretch a bit, especially if you're tight in the upper arm. Resting on your elbows and lower arms, and if you shift your weight to one side and then the other, sometimes you can get a little stretch through that outside of the upper arm. So even in the poses where we're holding them for a little bit, you don't necessarily have to be stagnant. Also, if you want to reach back for that left foot, you can do it with either hand that works for you. But if you're resting on a lower arm and elbow, it may make it a little bit easier to reach back. So now I'm getting shoulder opening. I'm stretching out my quads on that left leg. I'm getting a little bit of a twist in the spine, as well as this leg and hip opening on this right leg. Breathe. And remembering, it's slow and easy Monday, so you don't have to do everything. If you're just really feeling like you need to heal and rest, take it super slow. Don't pull that foot in. Just find a nice little easy spot here. And then we're going to take it slowly to the other side. Especially if you have back trouble, low back trouble. Roll away from that bent leg. So roll to your left, slide and kind of walk this right leg back into its place on the mat. And then to bring that, I should have said that the first time. And then to bring the other leg up, you can even roll away. Again, you can roll to your right, bring that left leg up into position. So again, so that your knee is roughly in line with your, coming straight out from your left hip. And then where do you want to be this time? Maybe you've been on your arms long enough. And you're going to lower down and find a good reasonable spot for your head. If you're pulling that back foot in, you can do it any way that works for you. So you might be able to pull that right foot in with your right hand. You probably want your head to turn to the right if you're doing that. Or you might want to mimic the other side if you did that, however you did it. So I was on my arm. I'm going to get that little twist in here and get my shoulder to open up a bit. So you want to still keep some softness in there. Even if you're in this more active, I'm going to call it, pose, where you've really got more going on by holding that foot. Still want to keep it soft and easy. Releasing out our stress. It's a never-ending task. Stress is always filtering back in. So we just need to constantly work at releasing it back out. So if you have that back foot, let it go. You're protecting your back. Roll a little bit or just kind of lean to your right. Bring that left leg back. And we're just going to be flat here. Let your head come down and rest on your arms. Soften your shoulders. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. So again, we're going to pull these shoulders. Now, if your shoulders are tight, trust me, I'll tell you this from experience, they may not feel like they're really moving, or they may not actually move, or not much. But we're just going to visualize, if they're not moving, we're going to visualize that we're pulling our shoulders down towards our hips and in towards the spine. If they do move, that's where you're going. And then we're pressing into the hands. Pay attention to how high you are, what's comfortable for you. We're going to pull that chest forward, shoulder blades back. And then pull your abdomen in. Come on back into a child's pose. Breathe. Again, knees can be very wide here, or they can be pretty much touching, or somewhere in between. Back up onto hands and knees so we can do thread the needle. If you like this variation with the leg out, we're just starting from hands and knees. So thread the needle, we're bringing the right arm underneath the left. So you can do it this way with both knees still on the floor, or you can extend this right leg out. So you're resting either on the sole of the foot or on the side, the arch side of the foot. I'm going to bring right arm underneath the left. So left leg, right arm underneath left leg out. Okay, so for me, this puts less stress on my neck than when both knees are down. But it does put more pressure on the one knee that is down on the floor. So if knees are a problem today, just pull that leg in, stay on both knees. Breathe out. See if you can soften this left shoulder, right shoulder. Right shoulder. Coming out of the pose, you want to use left hand flat on the floor. We're going to press into that hand. Slide the left arm back, and then if your leg's extended, pull that left leg in. We're going to round it into cat. And then just a nice little inhale into dog. Spine drops down. Feel that. Again, trying to feel that spine dropping between your shoulder blades. And then the head and the chest come up as high as feels right. Bring it back just into a slightly rounded spine. So gentle cat pose. If you're extending your right leg out, stretch it out, rest on sole or arch of the foot or kind of somewhere in between. Left arm's going to slide underneath the right. Shoulder comes down. If it's too much pressure on your left knee, bring that right leg in. Soften the left shoulder. And then press into your right hand. Left hand comes back. Right leg comes back, it's out, just back into a child's pose. Come back up onto hands and knees. Bring your right foot forward for a lunge. We're going to shift those hips forward. Stretch out the back leg. We're going to curl the back toes under. Bring that back knee up. Shift your hips back. Come into a pyramid pose, lengthening the spine out over. And that right leg. And then just bend in your right knee. Bring your back foot a little bit forward so you can plant it flat down on the floor, slightly angled. We're going to come up into a warrior one. Woo! Right knee's bent. We're dropping the hips down, lifting the spine up. Arms come on up overhead. Take a breath. And then into a humble warrior. Hands down behind you, interlace fingers. Pull hands down towards the floor. Inhale, lengthen the spine up. Exhale, fold forward. You can always let your hands go. They can come to your hips, they can come to your leg. Some days I'm wobbly and I'll bring the hands down to the floor. We're just folding into whatever feels like the natural point. If you're coming in lower, hands are lifting up away from the body. Try to soften. And then we're trying to inhale back up. If you're not steady, hands down and let your feet step together. If you're steady, you're coming back up into a warrior one. Arms come on up, shoulder blades down, lift the spine up. And then hands come down. Step that front foot back. You can also drop the back knee down. Take a breath in, a down dog. If you're feeling a vinyasa, come into plank. Knees can always drop down, tops of the feet on the floor if your knees are down. Pull the belly in, bend at the elbows. Slow and easy. Come on down, on your knees, straighten out legs. Find your way into your back bend. I'm going to stay low here. Chest forward, shoulder blades back, however low or high you are. Come on back into a child's pose. Coming back up onto hands and knees so we can bring this left foot forward for the lunge. Left foot forward. Shift your hips forward. Lengthen out that back leg. Curl your back toes under so we can come up into a pyramid pose. Knee comes up, hip shift back. Fold the body over the left leg. Now we're going to bend in the left knee. Bring your right foot a little bit forward so you can plant it flat on the floor. Toes angling about out a bit to the side. Left knee's bent. We're coming up into a warrior one. Arms come up overhead. Nice full breath. And then hands down behind you. Interlace fingers together. Pull hands down towards the floor. Inhale, lengthen up the spine. Exhale, fold forward, finding your own personal spot. Breathe. And if you're steady, you're going to work your way back up to standing. Arms come back up overhead. Shoulder blades down. And then hands come down. So again, you can drop this back knee down first and then bring the front foot forward. If you're doing a vinyasa, come on into plank. If not, back into a child's pose. let's bring it into a seated position and maybe have a sip of water. Butterfly pose. Soles of your feet together. Take your time. If you're having trouble with the inner legs and hips, propping something, okay, I'm just gonna grab this, that's what the arms reach. Just propping something underneath the leg so that the knees aren't just hanging and that weight is just aggravating your hips and your legs. It's one way to adjust the pose. We're gonna round back, let the head just drop forward. If your neck hurts, pick your head up. If you're getting low in the pose, you could try extending your hands forward very gently. Always trying to observe that tendency that we have to overdo it, to be a little bit aggressive in our practice. And keep it nice and comfortable. And then we're inhaling up, walking those hands back. Good. All right, let's do one with feet wide. Trying to get these inner legs. If these inner legs are tight, you might feel it in your hamstrings too if your hamstrings are super tight. For me now, it used to be more the back of the legs. For me now, it's mostly inner leg that I feel. So it could be, again, if like this is a good spot, you're upright, just hands behind you. Pull your shoulder blades back. You could play with tipping your head forward a bit. If it feels right to fold forward, your hands can really rest anywhere. Some people who can get lower like to hold the big toes and fold in, but hands can just be on the floor. You can be out in front of you. If you get low enough, you could bring lower arms down onto the floor or onto a prop, yoga block, a pillow. Meditation cushions, this one's filled with buckwheat. So it has a bit of firmness to it. It's got a bit of adjustability, but also a bit of firmness. I find it makes a great yoga prop, because then it's not like a pillow where you're just sinking down into it. All right, let's come back up and do a head to knee pose. Working on legs to, partly just for the sake of the legs, so that when we're walking they move more easily, but also for our backs, which for many of us are a source of a lot of pain. All right, so head to knee pose. We're pulling left foot in. So again, this leg could just go out to the side if your knee hurts, or if you want something under it, again, you can bring a prop underneath that knee. Toes on the extended leg. Traditionally, it's like all about, trying this more intensity, pulling toes in. So if your legs are already fairly loose, you can do that. You can play with that. But again, if it's a day where you feel like, you just need to chill out a little bit more, and just fold in and let your foot relax. Or if it's that your legs are already tight and pulling these toes in towards you just makes that too uncomfortable, right? So we're just adjusting, we're adapting. Where am I going to get the greatest benefit today? So a lot of times the greatest benefit comes from not being so intense. That's often why we hurt ourselves, when we're just like a little too gung-ho. I find it's often the days when I feel pretty good and then I push it too far. And the days when I'm having pain, when I'm inflamed, and I can't go as far until I'll move a little bit into a pose and then have pain. Those are the days that I think there's that, that sharp pain to tell me no, back up. And the days when I'm feeling looser, that's when I go a little too far. So just observe, kind of what's normal for you, what your tendencies are. All right, let's come back up. So if you're not having a lot of pain and you're just tight, then I think that too can be a place where you're just like, oh, I'm just going to try to force it to get these muscles to loosen up. And then again, it usually benefits us more to be a little bit softer. The muscles will usually let go a little bit more quickly when we're just a little less intense with them. Okay, so right foot in, left legs extended out. We're going to fold in over this left leg. Toes can pull in or foot can relax. You can be as low or as high in the pose as feels right today. And then a nice breath. And then let's come on out of this side. All right, we're gonna move on to our backs. Okay, let me give you the choice. If you want to do pigeon, I'm gonna do right knee forward out to the side, left legs back. If you're gonna do reclining pigeon, that's where I'm gonna go. We're gonna come onto our backs. Lower down. I'm going to use this as a pillow now. All right, so left foot on the floor. If you're doing reclining pigeon, right ankle on top of your left thigh. So again, this is a day where like this is a good spot just to be here. Just keep your left foot on the floor. If you're feeling like you want to do fallen, you're going to let your legs drop over to the side. So each little change that you make is going to shift slightly what you're feeling in the pose or where you're feeling it. If you're bringing this leg up, you're going to bring it up and hold on to the back of that left thigh. Keep breathing. Soften your shoulders. This is where a pillow can be really helpful to get you to relax these shoulders. If you feel like your shoulders are just always tight in this pose, try elevating your head a bit. Let's see if it makes a difference for your shoulders. All right, good breath. Soften eyes and jaw. Okay, let's change. If you're in pigeon, release that front leg. Stretch it out from hands and knees or down dog. If you're feeling like you need another vinyasa, you can easily do that. In pigeon, you can do that between sides. If you're in reclining pigeon, let that left foot be on the floor. Just extend your right leg up. Maybe just rotate that right foot around a little bit. And then we're going to let both legs just extend along the floor. Let your back soften and your abdomen. And then bring your, if you're in reclining pigeon, bring your right foot on the floor. If you're doing pigeon, left side, left knee forward, whatever your second side is. So reclining again, you can bring this left ankle on top of your right thigh. Maybe that's where you're going to stay. Or you can bring the right leg up. If you didn't have a pillow under your head, and this is your tighter side, might be a place where you want to bring something underneath your head. If this side is your tighter side, Just seeing how it is for your neck and your shoulders. I think I'm going to let my legs drop on this side. I'm just going to take them over to the right. All right, breathe. So you can always vary the pose from side to side. A lot of people have the knee issues in pigeon, and so you might be able to do pigeon on one side and then you get into the other side and your knee is not good there, or your hip is too tight. So you can always vary. Reclining pigeon, you might have your foot up on one side and keep it down on the other. And when you're in the pose, you just want to keep softening. Keep breathing out that stress. This side. So if you're in pigeon, same thing. You just shake that left leg out behind you, stretch it from down dog. If you wanted to do one more vinyasa, you can. If you're on your back, bring your right leg up. Rotate that left foot around, or sorry, bring your left foot up, left leg up, rotate that left foot around. If you're on your back already, we're going to straighten both legs out. If you were in pigeon, switch on over to your back. So here we go. If you're ready just to be in Shavasana, do that. If you're going to twist, feet on the floor, knees pointing towards the ceiling. If you're doing a deeper twist, twisted roots, bring your right knee, cross it over your left knee. And then we're going to bring the knees over to the left. So right knee on top of the left, knees dropping to the left side. Arms can be shoulder height. They can reach past your head. You can keep them low. And then come on back to center. If you're pulling your knees in, just do so gently. You want to watch those transitions of the low back, going from one position to another too quickly can be problematic. Okay, so we're going to drop knees to the right. If you're crossing knees, left knee's coming over your right knee. Knees drop to the right. center. Again, if you like, pull your knees in towards your chest, just gently. Otherwise, feet can be on the floor, low back compressed down. If your knees are in and you like happy baby, arms reach between knees, grab a hold of your feet. And then you can, so again, slow and easy Monday, maybe you're just going to keep those feet here. That feels really nice for me today. If you're separating feet, be mindful of how your back and your hips are here. Happy baby is another one where having something under your head can be helpful. It brings your shoulders up a little bit so you're not reaching quite as far with the arms for the feet. Alright, Shavasana, let your feet come down wherever you want to be, legs straight, feet on the floor. Whatever feels right today. Get comfortable. Take a slightly deeper breath. Exhale it out. And let yourself just soften down into the floor. And feel the body expanding and contracting. Breathe a little more deeply. Gently move your toes, fingers, your wrists. You can rock your feet from side to side, moving the ankles. You can turn your head to one side and then to the other. Stretch your arms overhead. Roll to one side. Slowly work your way up to seated. If you're sitting in a crossed leg position, whichever leg's on bottom, bring it on top if that's tolerable. If you can bring the foot over onto the thigh, you can sit in a half lotus. Hands at the heart. Take a nice breath. Exhale it out. Thank you for sharing your practice today. Namaste.